Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this CONNEX Supply Chain Visualization live demo. I want to apologize in advance if it looks like I'm reading some of my intro. That's simply because I'm reading some of my intro. Doesn't mean I'm not sincere. My name is Dan Foskin. I'm an area business manager for Missouri Enterprise, Show Me State's NIST MEP Center. Our mission at Missouri Enterprise is to support manufacturers and help them be successful. We do that through a variety of different solutions like business planning, certification assistance, continuous improvement, workforce enhancements, technology assessments, and so much more. CONNEX will fit nicely into that package. We have plenty of manufacturing expertise and broad industrial experience to provide positive impact here in Missouri. But we are also connected to a national network ready to find the right optimal solutions for your business. Whatever you need, we can fill it. As a fee-based nonprofit, we must charge for some of our services or programs, but being part of the MEP network also allows us to focus on return on investment and impact. Therefore, we emphasize client satisfaction through survey responses. Our entire team takes our solutions to your challenges very serious. And the National Institute of Science and Technology expects no less. When we get to the end of today's webinar, we would appreciate you taking a short 10-question survey through the chat. In a few months, the National Institute of Science and Technology will follow up with their own survey to gather information on how you have benefited from today's event and the impact provided to you and your company. Now, if there aren't any questions, I will turn this over to Mr. Jeff Wilkins.
All right, thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Dan is one of our ABMs, and we have several ABMs, and I'm sure some of you guys know them. So if you have any questions about CONNEX, you definitely can reach out to them, but also feel free to connect with me. I know you've chatted with quite a few of you in the past. And if you need help with national registration, updating profiles, capability statements, anything like that, we can help you with that. I'm going to post my information in the chat right now so you guys can see that. Actually, I think I just sent it to not everyone, so let me redo that. And I ask you to do the same so we can kind of work to network together. If you have some time and if you like posting your name in there and who we are, that'd be helpful to us and also to others here, I think, to get to know who everybody's on the meeting call today. CONNEX is a network for working together and communicating together to helping everybody kind of achieve the same goal. So if you let's see, I just want to do a quick survey. I did a poll here and I want to send this out and launch it. If you guys could take a minute to fill this out, and we'll kind of see what we're looking for with CONNEX database. Just take a few minutes. Looks like we had one response, so I'm waiting for 14 total here. So if you could take some time to take that. Looks like they're coming in slowly here. We get about 3 more people to fill it out, and 2 more. Give it another 3 seconds here, and we'll end the poll. So, so this is kind of where we're at. I figured it would be kind of all over the place, and you know it is. We have some people looking to utilize the Exchange Center, distribution of your products, filling the gap to sourcing materials. I think that's kind of a big one right now. Everyone's looking to do that. So in visualizing the supply chain, we have one person today, and that's what we're going to talk about mostly today. We'll also talk about a little bit about the search in that. So Just to introduce myself, I'm sorry, I should have done this already. My name is Jeff Wilkins. I serve as a supply chain manager for Missouri Enterprise and for the CONNEX program. I help to administer Missouri CONNEX platform, assist Missouri manufacturers in enrolling, updating the profile, working on capability statements, and utilizing the CONNEX platform, not only in Missouri, but also the national platform as well. We help help manufacturers to work with their domestic supply chains. And I have some database and IT technology experience for about 12 years. I also have worked locally with Rankin Technical College in St. Louis, so I understand workforce needs and things like that. Also joining me and kind of helping me out today is Jeremiah Duck. He's the VP of Information Technology from our developer of CONNEX, i5 Services. And his role is responsible for all aspects of the technology, including software development, project management, information systems, technology, infrastructure, and IT support. And he supports the process in every capacity from cost estimation to scoping and actually pushing out the platform. We have a new platform for CONNEX rolling out, and Jer is really, and his team is really working hard on that to help collaborate and bring these two platforms together for CONNEX Missouri and the CONNEX National Database. So it's going to be more seamless and good for that. So Jared, do you want to say anything for kind of keep getting rolling here?
No, that was a great introduction. I need to hire you for that going forward. Thanks a lot.
Well, just pulled it off your website and saw it on there, Jer. So
I
didn't share the results. So now hopefully you can see the sharing results of the CONNEX, and I'll try to share those next time right away when I talk about them. But there's the results from our poll, and so I just want to talk a little bit here. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. And I have a little PowerPoint here to go off of and talk about where we are, I think, as far as, let's see. Can everybody see that okay? Okay. So we kind of know where everything is as far as what we're looking at. We see digital transformation in manufacturing over the next 5 years. 31% of manufacturing companies plan to invest in e-commerce and omni-channel distribution. Things such as, working with, how they're going to distribute their product and things like that. 60% of manufacturing companies plan to invest in automation, supply chain technologies. I think this kind of goes along right with what we're looking at through the CONNEX database and how we can connect manufacturers together. We're kind of all doing this in our personal lives through Amazons and online purchasing and all those types of things. And why not bring the manufacturers together in the same reason, the same purpose, and kind of how we live our everyday lives now. And I think manufacturers are starting to come along, and CONNEX is a great tool for that. I know there's a lot of online databases for connecting manufacturers and things like that. CONNEX goes a little bit beyond that because we have the Exchange Center, we have the supply chain visualization where you can see what your suppliers and customers look like, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. So I do want to throw out one more quick poll on that question there. So let me see here. What do you see the biggest opportunities for your organization today as far as going forward? I know there's a lot of uncertainty and things like that. Where do you see like you guys looking to help and maybe work to utilize opportunity for you and your organization? So if you could take a minute to fill out that survey, maybe there's something not on there, and if you want to chime in and unmute yourself, let me know. But trying to see where you guys are kind of seeing opportunities there for you. Adaptation to the workplace is probably more like, how the workplace is changing, how we're going to adapt in our work environment as a manufacturing sector. So. Give it a minute or so here. So that one was a little bit more in line with one section. It was working on the supply chain resilience, and that's what we're here talking about today. I think that is definitely an area where we can help with CONNEX, and also it makes it a little bit easier with CONNEX, is it's something you can work through very simply with the database. And Missouri CONNEX we're the fourth state to kind of roll it out. We've worked with Utah, Florida, and Oklahoma. Kansas has just rolled it out. And so we're seeing more and more states line up for this and working to get more and more manufacturers on there. The national database has about 140,000 manufacturers listed. And those have, those are ones that we've compiled and put together on the database. But we're asking manufacturers to go out and reach out to their profile and work through that and help update that. Now, as a Missouri manufacturer, you have the opportunity to get onto the national database for free. It ends October 31st for life, the $500 free incentive for life. So make sure you are doing that if you have not. If you have questions about doing that, there is a two-step process. It's not just connecting to the Missouri manufacturing database, it's also that national database too. So you have about a little bit longer here to get enrolled into that. So and what it does, again, is it's going to streamline critical connections between manufacturers. It works to connect each other better. It provides in-depth so you can actually update your profile, work through the capability statements and highlight specific production capabilities, certifications, equipment. So it's not just listing your company on there, it's listing exactly what you're doing, what capabilities you have, what you're looking to expand in, what opportunities you have. And then you can also, what we're talking about today, a little bit more in depth, is visualizing that supply chain with customers. So I'm not going to go too much more into how you go about it, but if you do need to request access to Missouri Enterprise, to the Missouri CONNEX, it's missourienterprise.org/CONNEX, and then you can get on there and it'll take you to the database. So, and I'll just show you real quick what the database looks like here. And if you go here, you can request an account. This is the profile area for the industries and everything listed there as far as that goes. So let's see, let me go back to my PowerPoint here. So again, that upgrade for free for life is important too. So there's three parts of the section of as far as helping manufacturers basically kind of differentiate the CONNEX database. There's the public information, there's the members only, and there's the confidential information. So again, we talked about uploading 140,000 manufacturers nationwide. We have 4,700 listed in Missouri alone. Those are imported by Missouri Enterprise, and we're working with i5 Services and looking at DMB information and different information like that, so we can figure out who are our manufacturers in the state of Missouri. We've uploaded those, but we've requested out for our manufacturers to actually go out and create an account and become a member. And at that point, that's where you can add into that member side of the database. I'm going to do a quick login here for the P8 for a company that we created. This over here. And when you log in, you'll see your My Organization is over here. You have the companies listed. This is the public information side kind of, but once you're logged in, you'll be able to see a little bit more on each company. And then you go into My Organization. And this is the company that we kind of made up. It's they're out of Jeff City in the basement of our AIM partner, Associated Industries of Missouri. And there's a nice aerospace company there in that office building there. So we put that prime demo up, but you can see that you can actually go in and update certifications. It's nice whenever you go into any area that you want to update, you can actually click on any of these areas and it actually does a pop-up here, and you can see that you can easily checkbox different areas. If you have to add certain things, if we don't see something on these different industry sectors, or there's other options box available, but we can also work with our developer to kind of expand those and work to help you guys go through those basically. Another option, that was we're talking through this, is we want to talk to you about the suppliers, and this is where you can work to visualize your supply chain, kind of the start of it. This is where you would actually upload your suppliers. You'll see as you go through any of these areas here, it says what's confidential and what's not confidential, what's members only in what areas. So this is a confidential section actually, where you actually can only have that information uploaded for yourself and be able to see that yourself. So whenever you upload those and create a supplier, you'll be able to go through that. Jerry's going to talk a little bit more about this as we go further into it, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what that public members only information and confidential information, what the differences are there. The public, again, is going to be available for anybody kind of searching maybe your company or different aspects. The members only helps as far as that search function within the database, and the confidential section is it's more for you as a manufacturer. We talked about another big aspect of the database. We talked about last time when we had our last webinar was about the Exchange Center and opportunities there. Whenever you're logging back into your account, you can see the Exchange Center listed up here, and we have our needs listed. We're going to ask manufacturers, and we have a few that have actually listed some things and items that they need. This is a good opportunity for you to say, you know, I'm really having trouble sourcing this product. I talked to Clay and Bailey, and they actually were having some issues with some protection for their threading. They do aluminum threading out in Kansas City, and he was having some issues with, you know, finding some threading protectants for whenever they're shipping that out. So you can think, you know, you think about supply chain issues, you know, I think it's something like simple as, you know, what parts to actually manufacture it, but what about things that you do when you're actually shipping it out and things like that. He did a search, actually posted here. I talked to him a little bit about it, and he was able to connect with a company down in Gainesville. He connected out with a company out in Pittsburgh, Missouri, and actually in Kansas City too. So he's waiting to hear back from them and make that connection to kind of fill a void for the supply that he needs to basically ship these parts out to his clients once he gets them worked together and everything. So if you're having any issues like that, definitely go to the Exchange Center, post it on there. One thing nice about it is you can go on there and you can distribute it. I can't show you here, but you can respond to any listing. If you feel like this is something you want to go for, you can. Sometimes there's attachments. As Missouri Enterprise, we do our supplier scouting on there, so we put those listings on there, and you can post those as well. So, but you can also, if you post something out as a manufacturer, like Clay and Billy did, he can go through and look for companies or industry sectors, kind of like your profile here. He can select different options, like industry sectors, NICS codes, certifications, all these different areas, things that he's specifically looking for, and send those out to manufacturers, and they're updated and sent out to manufacturers right away. So just make sure you know whenever you're posting those needs and things like that. That's a good way to communicate and work with manufacturers. Now, the gentleman at Clay and Bailey, he actually went one step beyond. He went to the search and said, you know, I really need, this could be a way to do it, but another way to do it is to just go through the search and look through that. So he searched the same type of companies that he thinks would fill that need. And he went into the search, or what it might be, protecting, you know, let's just say cardboard. Cardboard, I think is what he searched for, but anything like that. Well, that was probably the best search in the world, but let's do metal. And then, you know, whatever it might be as far as that goes, you can drill down with that, the filters, and go into different counties, zips, states, industry sector certifications. The same thing as when you're pushing out through the Exchange Center, you can do that through your search as well. So if you need an ISO certification company, you can go through and find out the companies that have updated that and they're ISO certified if you need to look for those options too. So just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of that because there's a lot of aspects to CONNEX that we're also maybe not as we're getting used to, kind of helping you work through it. So another nice aspect, again, what we're talking about today is the visualization piece. This is a nice aspect where you can basically upload your suppliers, also customers too, and figure out who is, maybe good for you and who's maybe someone that you need to look to fill those gaps in. I know it's a tough time right now. We're actually having a lot of supply chain issues all over the place. So it might be kind of everywhere. But I think as things start to square up and things like that, and we're trying to work on those supply chain resiliency things that we mentioned in that poll, you can basically put those on there, figure out where you have a lot of your financial risk maybe going, and actually upload those. And as you upload your profile, you might be listed as an alternative too. So whenever you have a single company that might be a financial risk, or you have a lot of investment going into there's a single supplier, or maybe they're even a blacklisted company through the DoD or through the federal government, blacklisted foreign suppliers and things like that are even listed on there. So if you have a supplier like that, you can look to help you find alternatives here locally and reshoring that opportunity. So, so that's kind of the nice benefit of that. But hopefully I didn't steal Jared's thunder on that. But he's going to go hopefully a little bit more in depth than my knowledge on that. The advanced search, another good opportunity. We can go through, and I talked a little bit about the search, but being able to figure out what opportunities are out there for us, and be able to narrow down the search functionality of our area. So again, whatever you might be stealing. Steel was a big one in our area. That's one that everybody's kind of searching for right now. You can filter that down and look through different sectors. There's also can expand out to this national database, and that's where you would go through that as far as expanding and looking into the national database for that. So looking across state borders and things like that. So I want to do one more poll here and go through and see what kind of challenges you guys feel like you're having out there. What do you see as the biggest challenges, maybe not to your organization in the next 3 to 5 years? Probably currently, obviously, and also going out further than that. So if you could take a minute to fill out that, that'd be great. Yeah, a few more participants to fill out. Take a couple more seconds here, and we'll end it there. And I'll share the results. So it looks like what kind of has been reoccurring in our conversations with a lot of manufacturers, that workforce retention and recruitment, kind of where we are with that. Supply chain is right up there. I think those are neck and neck for 1 and 2. I also think I put the uncertainty, and that's definitely an opportunity, or not opportunity, but an issue that we have. But a digital investment too. It's a good opportunity for us to fill kind of some of those workforce issues and some of those supply chain issues. But how do we go about doing that? So, as we're talking and working as a community in the manufacturing area, how can we help you in those areas and work with you on those things? So, I'm going to stop sharing. I just wanted to go over that. I want to turn it over to Jer now. Kind of a weird segue, I guess, Jer, but if you could if you could share out your screen, or however you want to do that, and talk a little bit more about our supply chain and our, the search functionality, I think that would be helpful for our user group here today. So.
Perfect. So I am sharing my screen now. Thank you very much for having me on today. Thank you to everyone who's joined today. I know how busy everyone is, and so taking an hour of your day is very important, and hopefully you're getting a lot out of this training and demo. But if you do have any questions at any point, please unmute yourself and feel free to ask it during this demo, or put it in the chat, and either Jeff or I will address it at the end of the demo here. So I am logged in, same user as Jeff, just on a different environment. So the information is going to look the same. Looking at the profile here, I'm just going to click directly down to the confidential information here, just to go to the actual supply chain data. Looking at it, there's 2 parts of the profile that I think are important when we talk about supply chain. So you've got your suppliers and customers here that you're going to want to put in. And then going a little further up, the services and products offered. So this describes the things that you provide as a manufacturer. And so when we look at the supply chain visualization, I'll refer back to both of these sections, but I would encourage you not only just to fill out your entire profile, but also just realize that when we talk about the supply chain visualization, this piece here, as well as this piece down here, are what are going to plug into that supply chain. So I'm just going to go over here to update customers. I clicked directly on the section that I wanted to update, but no matter where you click on the profile, there is a sections tab on the left, and then you can just quickly get to any part that you want to update. So Typically, I tell people when they're going to update their profile, just click any update button that you see, because a lot of times it's faster just to click here on the left and get to the part that you want to go to. Looking at it, I have a couple ways that I can actually create a new customer. The first way, just clicking on that top button, you'll manually create them one at a time. If you click on this drop-down list, it's going to actually pull Missouri manufacturers that have a profile in CONNEX. So if you do have a customer or supplier in the state of Missouri, this is the best way to actually get them added to your supply chain here. So if they do not exist here, let's say that they are outside of the state, or you just don't see them when you look at this list, then just check that box and you can add their information here. Once you've selected someone, so I'm going to randomly just pick somebody. The next thing that you'll want to identify is what do you do for them, since they are a customer of yours. If you were doing a supplier, then it would prompt you to say, what do they do for you, or what do they supply to you? These checkboxes here pull from different parts of the profile. So if you check on a box here, you can just check a single box and not add anything additional here. But if you pull down the dropdown, you do have options here. So in this case, if they're an equipment provider or equipment designer, if you sell to them, then you can choose, well, I sell autoclaves to them, or I provide autoclaves to them. On the materials side, you can choose any of the materials that we have listed here. So you can add multiple things as well. So it's pretty quick and easy to just go through, check the boxes, see the options that you have, and get them added to identify what you do for them or what they do for you. In addition to that, you've got these bottom sections here where you actually identify your relationship with the organization. If you have a question about why this type of information is being asked, it's not required to save a customer or supplier. You don't have to put it in if you don't want to. However, it does help with the risk analysis part of the supply chain.
Regarding the Aerospace Power Systems Technical Committee specifically, so what is it primarily auxiliary power units and variety, or what are the types of things that are covered under the specific committee?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I actually wasn't able to hear you very well, Mike.
It's all right. Yeah, it was Mike Taylor. I think he was talking to maybe somebody else there at that point, Jeremiah.
Oh, okay. So, okay, I'll just keep going then.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So, so on there, there's always these tooltips. You'll see them in other places in the app. You'll see something that looks like a little eye with a circle around it. You can always hover over that and it will tell you why we need that information. Like I was saying before, it helps gauge that risk analysis piece that we're going to get to when we get to the actual supply chain visualization. So as I said, none of this information is actually required, but we encourage you to fill it out because it will help you as you're looking at the supply chain part of it. In addition to that, you do have the option here to import customers in mass. So if you have a spreadsheet where you want to actually upload the data that way, then if you click on that button, you can see here, it tells you that you need to just either click here to browse for a file on your computer or drop a file here. It also says that you need to have a header row. So you need to have something at the top of your spreadsheet that indicates that it's a street, it's a city, a state, a zip. If I choose a file here, I'm just going to pick this one randomly here. There's only one row here in this file. And so it will actually go through and give you just a preview of the data that's in your file, and it will auto map based on that header row that you included. So if your header row includes a name, street, city, it should auto map it, but you do have the option to just click change your mapping. But in reality, what you're really looking at is this preview here, just making sure that it looks like a name and it looks like an address. If it looks like it should, then all you have to do is click import. It will import in the background. You can do other things. So if you had 100, 200 customers or suppliers you're trying to load, you just import it, go do something else. When it's finished, it will email you to let you know that it's done. If there is any issue with uploading it, if for some reason it couldn't upload something, it will tell you that it had a problem, in which case you would contact Jeff. And if Jeff needs to, he can contact me to help you get that done. So once you have your customers and suppliers loaded, and then if you look at the supply chain visualization itself, you will see them in here. There's a legend here at the bottom right that will actually tell you the difference between a customer and supplier. You can see that suppliers are in green, customers are in yellow. Depending on the orientation of the shape, it will tell you whether it has all of the information that's typically needed in the supply chain visualization or if it's missing information. If there is an alert, any type of alert at all that we provide, you'll see it highlighted in red. So if I click on one of these, you can see here, this is that same information that you supplied on the actual customer or supplier side, where you were identifying what was the operational reliability, the financial reliability, the economic value. You can see that it did flag up an alert here, what value offerings that you added. So when I was pulling things down from that drop-down list, it adds them here. So while you may know this information, if you've added the information yourself, if there are other people at your shop that actually have access to the supply chain visualization piece, they may not know that information about all of your suppliers and all of your customers. So having it all in one place will help everyone who's doing something with supply chain see how that is throughout your organization. If for some reason you wanted to view Acme Joining's profile, you could click this button here and it will take you to that profile page. If you wanted to change something about this, if you're looking at it and you're saying, oh, well, they don't actually offer fabrication to us anymore, you could edit the relationship here. It will take you right back to that screen that we were on, and you could change that. And then like Jeff was talking about earlier when he was showing the PowerPoint presentation, there is the option to find alternate suppliers. So if I click here, it will then plug into all of the profiles that are in CONNEX Missouri, and it will look at that products and services page. So when I scrolled up and said that this section here you want to fill out, especially if you are a supplier in your state, then filling that out is how it matches this up. So when people are loading in their suppliers and their customers and they're indicating what they do for them, what you do for them, what they do for you, and you're putting all of that information in, if you click on this box here, it goes through all the profiles and looks at the same type of information to see, is there anyone else in Missouri that can do the same thing? And then it will list them all in here. This list can be exported. So if you do, or if you're looking at this, and let's say I was looking for an alternate supplier for Acme Joining, I could export this list and I could actually work on it later. Whether I want to contact them, if I want to do some more research on them, I'll have that available. I won't always have to go specifically to this page. Now, I would encourage that if you are using this, you should actually go to the page pretty often, because more and more suppliers and customers in Missouri are coming on board every week. And so as they fill out their profiles, this will be updated immediately when the profile is updated. You do have the option, if you click on any one of these links, it will take you to the actual profile itself. So if you do want to do research there, you'll be able to see that information when you actually click on the profile and go down and look at all of the data points. One other thing that I'd like to show while we're on here, and I'm actually going to move another screen over. You should be seeing now a different environment. It's actually the staging environment for CONNEX Florida, but on this demo, it has a little bit more on the customer and supplier side. There is one in particular here that I wanted to show. So on here, there's a blacklist alert. So I think Jeff mentioned it briefly during his presentation. We are actually connected to the Trade Department's consolidated screening list, and that actually aggregates roughly 12, 13 lists across Commerce, State, and the Treasury departments, so that if any of the suppliers or customers that you add to your supply chain potentially match against an entity on any one of those lists, we will show it to you here. So if you click here for more information, you can see here that it actually gives you information from that blacklist alert, where it tried to match up what was on here, this CAMIA, which is actually an alias of this specific entity here. It will tell you what list it was found on. So in this case, the specially designated nationals list from the Treasury Department. And then it also gives you a couple URLs, one to look at the actual list itself. So if you wanted to pull the source list from the Treasury Department, you could do it from here. And if you wanted to pull information on what you should do if it actually was a match. So in some cases, it can be a false positive, but if it is a match, in some cases, that doesn't prohibit you from working with them, but you should always click on this source information URL so that you can actually see what the next steps would be. And so we do connect, the actual consolidated screening list is updated hourly from the Trade Department, and we connect with that every hour to pull the information down. And as soon as you add a supplier or customer, we check against that to see if anyone's on there. So you will instantly know if we potentially find a match. Any questions so far on anything that we've shown on the supply chain piece? I would encourage you to get this information as soon as you get access to the system, or if you already have access to the system, have all of that put in there, because it really will help you just see in one place kind of where your supply chain's at. If you have any type of risk, so if you do have a single source supplier, that find alternates can help you find local folks in your state that may help you either just diversify where you're getting stuff from, or find a place that you didn't know existed locally to you. However, as Jeff mentioned, you do have a promotion going on right now through the end of the month, so about 10 more days that will allow you to connect to the national platform in case you want to look for additional suppliers or customers, people that you might work with there. So I'm going to show you real quick how to actually sign up for it for those of you that haven't. So I'm going to do a simple search here. Let me just move some controls. I did a search on machining. If you click on this expand search to national marketplace, you'll see here that it will actually bring up a little registration screen here. In this case, it found my actual profile here on the national platform, and it's actually prompting me to take a look and say, is this actually me or not? As Jeff said, that there are roughly 140,000 profiles in the national platform across the US. And so there is a high likelihood that if you are in CONNEX, that you are also already in the manufacturer's marketplace. So in this case, if it is you, you just click this is my company, and it will bring this last section up here. Because we are running right now a free forever promotion, normally the annual price would be $500 a year. But if you do sign up in the next 10 days, you will not have to pay a thing ever to get that national search capability. And so you can see here the price is $0. There are 2 last boxes that need to be checked. Only the first one will let you check it out right, although I do encourage you to read the terms and conditions here, like everyone always does. This next box, in order to get that checked, you can see here it doesn't let you check it out right. You do have to click this link here because the national platform does have specific restrictions on who can register. So the number 1 restriction, of course, is that you must be a manufacturer that builds things in the United States. So here it will list the sectors that you should be in any one of these, and you're eligible as a manufacturer. But it does list specific sectors that are not eligible. So if you're just a consultant for services, if you're IT service firms, insurance firms, banks, brokers, freight providers, those folks are not eligible for the national platform. However, for anyone either on this call who does one of those things, or if you're watching this later online, we do have a service provider portal that will be coming out in Q1 2020, or 2022 rather, sorry, that will allow these folks in. So I encourage you that if for some reason you're watching this today and you do not currently qualify for access to the national platform, next year there will be some place for you to go as we expand on what is in CONNEX, so that we encompass the entire ecosystem related to manufacturing. So once I click accept here, both boxes are checked. The last thing to do is hit confirm. So it will take probably 10 seconds or so, and then it will present you with a thank you page. And then at that point, you will then have access to the national platform. Once you do have access to the national platform, when you're doing those searches and you click expand search, I'm going to move this screen back over here again. It will run that same search that you're doing within CONNEX Missouri. It will run that here in the national platform. As you can see, I ran a machining search, which was the same one that I did before. So instead of a couple hundred or a few hundred that were in Missouri, you can see that there are more than 10,000 hits nationally. The look and feel is slightly different here, but it does have very similar functionality. Those same filters that you see in CONNEX that we also have here in the national platform, as well as if you click on any one of these profiles, you'll be able to see a quick view of their profile. And then there is a complete profile that you can look at to see what information is there on the national platform.
And Jared?
So, yep.
Yeah, so as I'm talking to individuals about the national and the CONNEX platform, letting them know that there's going to be a change coming of look and feel and everything. So If you could talk just a little bit about that, just what's upcoming as far as that goes, so we have more of a cohesiveness as far as the CONNEX Missouri and CONNEX Marketplace.
Yeah, definitely happy to do that. So there are two separate platforms. You've got CONNEX. So in each of the states, CONNEX Missouri, CONNEX Kansas, CONNEX Oklahoma. And then there's the national platform, which is the manufacturer's marketplace. Both applications function very similarly, but they are sponsored by different entities and they were developed at different times. And so to make this easier, we've all decided to combine together so that we can work as one application and one group going forward to make it much easier for you as a manufacturer to interact with all of the features and the services that are provided through CONNEX. And so the actual launch is likely going to be either towards the end of this year or the beginning of next year. It will be called CONNEX Marketplace, just combining both of those two together. And at that point, the actual look and feel will not be different. It will all look the same, whether you're searching locally within your state or you're searching nationally. And all of the information is going to be combined into one system. So it's going to help us scale as we add more and more states on board and as we reach towards our goal to getting all 140,000 plus manufacturers and the entire ecosystem onto the CONNEX Marketplace. This is going to allow us to expand the app itself. So it's also going to include service providers. It's going to include research and development organizations. So if you are looking for help in the R&D area, or you do provide R&D for manufacturing, there'll be a place for you there. Going back to that last poll that we were looking at, workforce was, I think, the #1 answer for challenges that you're facing. Sorry, go ahead.
Quality data into ours.
Rebecca, I'm sorry, we didn't get that question. Did you have a question?
Just to remind our customers.
Oh.
No, sorry.
That's all right.
So workforce was the #1 answer, I think, in that last question. And here in Utah, we have a Defense Manufacturing Community Grant that is focusing. One of the pillars on that is in workforce. And so in Q1, Q2 next year, you'll start seeing updates to CONNEX that relate specifically to workforce to help you fill that gap. That is a roughly 4-year project that we're undergoing with CONNEX. And so over the next few years, there's going to be a lot of things coming in related to workforce, a lot of things coming in related to supply chain and supply chain risk and how you mitigate that. We currently have roughly 3 or 4 areas of risk that we're looking at in supply chain currently. However, we're looking to expand that to encompass roughly 10, 20 different areas as we go. So getting in now would be great because, more and more folks are getting on board and there's a lot of opportunity as an early adopter of CONNEX Missouri. But know that when we come out with the new application next year, more and more features will be rolling in very frequently, every month, 2-month timeframe in all areas of manufacturing. So looking at the search, 1 or 2 other really quick things as we're kind of wrapping up on time here. When we're looking at the search itself, this is the machining search that I just did with 379 results. As Jeff said, that it matches against areas in your profile. So you can see here that machining term matched against name, value offerings, capabilities, which would be equipment, processes, the description, that little bio that's on your profile, it matches up against there. A NAICS code, recognitions and awards that have been added to profiles, and SIC codes. You can see that it's ranked by relevance here, just based on how many times it finds it in your profile, the content of what's in each section. One of the #1 questions that we get, even though we're talking about supply chain here, is how do I get to be the #1 search result? How do I get to be at the top? And there isn't a great way to answer that. Obviously, the best thing that you can do is just fill out your profile completely and honestly, and that will give you the best chance to rank higher on here. However, I would encourage you to not get too hung up on that because a real separator for CONNEX, what makes it, I think, more powerful than a search engine like Google or Yahoo or Bing, is that we have all of these extra filters that allow you to quickly get down to a subset of data that's not dependent on something like SEO, on how long your website's been out there, on what is on a website, on how much you've paid to have yourself ranked at the top. Because We do not do pay for placement. There is not a way to just guarantee that you're number one on the list, and that's not part of it. Everyone's on an equal playground, whether you were the first person to register or the 5,000th person to register. As long as you fill out your profile, you have just as much of a chance to get at the top. But the example that Jeff gave, where he was narrowing it down by an ISO certification, if I click here on the filters, you can see that as I click on any type of filter here, so let's say that I click on St. Louis, it actually will rebuild the rest of the filters so that the filters available are dependent on what is the data of those 66 profiles that are in St. Louis. So now that I'm looking at that here, I can say, okay, well, now that I'm here, I want to look at how many are machine shops. So 23 have indicated that they have a NAICS code of a machine shop. And then if I scroll further down, you can see there's a couple other options to limit by zip code, by SIC code. If there was a certification here, so if one or two of those were ISO certified, I could limit it there. But it's very quick to get down to exactly what you're looking for. If you were trying to do a similar search through Google, where you just said, well, I wanted to find all machine shops or all shops that work with steel in the city of St. Louis, that are woman-owned, that have an ISO certification, an AS9100 certification, that have an autoclave. That would be a pretty difficult search to do in Google. You would have to, obviously depend on the fact that they would have to have all that information on their website, and that somehow whatever combination of things that you type would bring them up, in the first, 1, 2, or 3 results, because as we all know, if you're not first or third, you don't even get looked at in Google. So in here, it's very simple to just put all the information in, to use the filters to get to exactly who you want. And then when you do click on that profile, you'll know that all of the information is organized in the same way across all several thousand profiles that you have here in Missouri. So it's very quickly to verify the information, to see what other information might be on there, because it's collected and presented the same way on every single profile. One last thing I would say, even though it's also not related necessarily to supply chain, is that if you have not uploaded a capability statement to your profile, please take the time to do that if you have one. If you do not have one, there is a training, I believe, on the Missouri website on creating a capability statement. That information that you upload there, it's going to be through a PDF, and all of that information on there is indexed with the search. So this same machining search, if you had that term somewhere in that PDF, it would also pick up here, and you would come back in these results. So a lot of folks have a 1 to 10 page, capability statement that lists a lot of information, like what you produce, what you do, what certifications you have, your NAICS codes. All of that information would get indexed into our search, so that you can quickly have all of that available and come up in search. So any questions on the search, on the filtering, on supply chain visualization, on uploading customers or suppliers, on connecting to the national platform? Again, you only have about 10 days left to get that forever free promotion. So even if you're not sure of the value yet, you're not sure of how much you'll use it, I would encourage you to take the opportunity to sign up anyway. It doesn't cost you anything. And because if you miss that window, you may not get the opportunity to sign up again for that free forever promotion.
All right, thank you, Jer. Yeah, if
Yep.
you guys have any questions, please jump on right now. If you have questions about, what you think of, what your expectations of CONNEX are, or is what you're looking for further, anything like that you guys want to share right now, that'd be a great time. I'm going to post in the chat as well a survey. It's a survey link that we're asking for you to fill out on today's webinar, but also just to kind of get you feedback on all of our NIST, as far as our NIST impact and things like that. We talked about in the beginning. We're a NIST MEP center, and so we do a lot of our events and projects and things like that based on our surveying and our CONNEX platform, even based on what impact we're kind of seeing from manufacturers. So if you could take a minute to fill that out. I do have one more poll. It's launching right now, so you guys can take that one. It's a little bit, maybe a more difficult poll than the last were. But if you want to take a quick poll and answer that, if you feel like you have some opportunity in there. But also I want to mention our upcoming events for manufacturers. We have today's recorded webinar is going to be posted on our YouTube channel here. So if you have others that you know that you want to share this out to, please let them know. I5 Services also has some trainings. They have one next week on capability statements, which Jared talked about. Missouri Enterprise can also help you guys write those or work with you on helping you write those if you feel like you need some assistance there. So just take some time to look at that. We have that training coming up with them. And we can help you get a PDF even. I think I send those out to anyone that registers about what's a good option for filling out that PDF. So, or filling out that capability statement. So appreciate that. And just wanted to say thanks and for taking some time out of the day. I'll end the poll now. It looks like we have a few people that responded. So, and they'll share the results. It looks like the Cowboys and Chiefs, being a Missouri State, I think that's probably the correct answer as far as the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl, even though they're having a little bit of a rough time. And hopefully we'll see that. But and we appreciate the time today, you guys. And thanks for stopping by. And if you have any questions on anything, please let us know. And we'll be here for you anytime. So thanks a lot, Jared. And thanks everybody for joining today.